11, 5, 9 and 20 miles today, 4, 11, 17, 32 the day before. Boot, 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 moving up and down again. There's no discharge in the war. Don't look at what's in front of you. Boot, 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 moving up and down again. Men go mad with watching them. There's no discharge in the war.
Welcome back to another episode of Requesting Good Company. We got another victory. It's been a couple weeks since y'all have heard from us. You know, we've been laying low. We wanted to give these other teams time to get their thoughts together, process correctly. But Avery and John are back at it again. We are at it with a Eagles victory over the Green Bay Packers with the final score of 22-10 in the wild card round of the playoffs. John, I'm going to ask you your initial first thoughts on the game.
Initial first thoughts are who's going to match this team's physicality. They are a physically imposing football team. You could see it in this game. Green Bay Packers dropping like flies on that football field. This defense, man, I told my wife right before the game ended, this is the best defense that the Eagles have had since I've been a fan of the team. They are just such a cohesive unit. They're not going to give up a bunch of yards. They're not going to give up a bunch of points. It's just not in their nature. And that starts up front. Obviously, Jalen Carter it draws multiple double teams, draws double team, triple teams the entire game. Nolan Smith, who everybody wanted to write off after 1 year, comes through, has two huge sacks in this game. These Georgia Bulldogs are growing up before our eyes, and I'm not going to sit back and say that I'm surprised by it because I knew what kind of players these guys were, man. Like they come from Georgia. They played under Kirby Smart. I know what that football team commands down there. We've seen it. They know what it takes to win championships. They won back to back. We just have absolute, pardon my French, fucking dogs on that side of the ball, man.
Headed to another championship, Super Bowl. Exactly.
Yeah.
There were some injuries that happened today that I feel like we need to discuss. Nakobe Dean with the knee injury early in the game. I think that was the second quarter or maybe the end of the first. Slay got hurt up a little bit. I've become accustomed to Slay getting hurt at minimum at least once each game, but always coming back. That's with old age, I guess. Old age for a corner, I guess. But yeah, I do believe that Nakobe Dean is a huge part of our defense.
For sure. I think he identifies as the vocal leader on our defense. The good thing for us, he didn't play. I know he didn't play the Giants game last week. He might have went out in that Cowboys game, or he didn't play in the Cowboys game. But Warren Burks obviously started off the game with the huge forced fumble on the kickoff, and has played a lot of football the last 2 or 3 weeks. So yes, losing your vocal leader in Nakobe, and we'll see what kind of time frame he has for his injury. But Warren Burks has stepped in and played well. I'm extremely pleased with the way that he's played. It's just plug and play for this defense right now. They have so many guys. Isaiah Rodgers comes in and takes snaps whenever Slay's not able to go. So I'm just pleased. This unit, Vic Fangio, what he's done since the bye week early in the season, we thought we were going to have another one of these defenses that just gets cooked all the time. And since week 5, man, they've just been absolutely lights out. Just lights out. They're fun to watch. They're so fun to watch on that side of the ball.
Vontae Maddox got in the game again today.
Had a pass deflection in the end zone.
Yeah, good one. I watched the whole thing and I was praying the whole time he was on the field. I mean, if NFL or other teams have not figured this out, when he's on the field, target him every time. Throw the ball to him.
The
Uh,
Packers, man, obviously a rough end of their season. They, lost to the Vikings a couple of weeks ago, lose to the Bears on a last second field goal. So they're kind of limping in going into this game. And, it really just looked like their struggles picked up where they left off the last couple of weeks. Christian Watson was a guy that the Eagles didn't have to worry about today because he tore his ACL in that game against the Bears last week. So didn't have to worry about anything really getting over the top of you. And then we knocked Dobbs and Jaden Reed out of the game as well. So I can't say enough good things about the way this defense played and the way I expect them to play again next week. I mean, and then I know we'll obviously shift to the offense in just a second, but just they won the game today, man. Just them as a unit. If I'm giving out a game ball, I'm leaning towards giving it just the entire unit, man, because they just play sound, cohesive defensive football, and they impose their will on you on that defensive side of the ball.
Shout out to special teams as well. Obviously, the first play of the game, to get that turnover was huge. I mean, that's 7 points on the board
Mm-hmm.
quickly. That changes the whole atmosphere of the game from the first play of the game.
Yep.
That's literally what coaches teach.
Mm-hmm.
First play of the game, making plays is
Who's going to set the tone?
yeah,
Who's going to set the tone? Who's going to come out here and give us the momentum that we need to get this crowd into it? And it's not like they need much help anyway. So they were fired up. Eagles fans all packed that place, and to start that game the way that they did, I mean, it's a good way to start a run, man. A good way to start a run to a championship.
it is. Um, so we go into halftime. We can fast forward all the way to halftime pretty much. We're up 10-0, but it doesn't feel like 10-0. It feels like 34-0, but
Yeah.
it was 10.
Yeah.
That being said, obviously we can talk about the offense when we come out of halftime, and something doesn't seem right. Something seems a little off, and I don't know if that's Jalen getting out of concussion or
Mm-hmm.
us not throwing the ball at all.
I
Really,
think that I think that definitely played more of a role today than I originally would have expected. um, just passing game kind of ho hum, used to what we've seen. But the Eagles, the good thing about the Eagles was they've played so many games like that, like the game that we won today. Like that game felt very similar to that first Washington game that we played. Felt very similar to that Cleveland game that we played, and it's just a matter of your defense and the way that you run the ball, how effective you run the ball is going to set the tone for how we finish this game and how we set ourselves up moving forward. Because uh, I think that's just such an underrated point about this team is they can play any kind of game. They can play a low scoring defensive affair like they did today, or they can go and play a shootout like they might have to go do next week against some of these higher powered offenses, some of these healthier offenses, and obviously looking forward to Detroit in 2 weeks if that happens. So I'm not worried from a standpoint about the offense. Green Bay was sixth in points allowed on the season. So they got stout. They got stout defense. They got good players over there on the defensive side of the ball. Good defensive line, strong defensive. They got Georgia guys too, man, all over their defense. So those guys know what it's like to win. But today was just our day, and we're a fine old machine, man. They're a scary bunch. I don't know if you saw the LaShawn McCoy hype video, but
yeah.
these dogs is hungry. These dogs is fast. And he's right, man. That's just the type of team that this team is. Like I'm so thrilled with the way that they came out and just took care of business from the very beginning.
So offensively, obviously, I mean, it wasn't our best game, obviously. That's facts.
Mm-hmm.
We did have some highlights, obviously. Our boy Goddard, stiff
Yes,
arm,
sir.
all
Yep. Taking out Kentucky's own Carrington Valentine right there. Couldn't make the tackle.
bad too. They
Mm-hmm.
showed his face on sideline. He was hot.
Mm-hmm.
I texted many of people saying, this is big boy ball. Y'all better,
Mm-hmm.
this is big boy ball over here. Y'all better get right.
Yep. Bunch of bullies, man. They're going to bully you for 4 quarters. That's the way this team is built.
Did you?
And all that goes credit to Howie Roseman and the way that this team is built. And uh, they have depth. Uh, I, I almost sit back speechless, Avery, the way that they came out and played.
It was good. It was good play, but there were some questionable moments though, Jai. There were I
For
felt
sure.
I,
Uh, it's kind of got like that old school style of football to it, feel to it, because they today I think in certain situations where they had third and long, and you're not seeing plays that are designed to go to the sticks. You're not seeing the Eagles put
they were
the
running
ball
the
in
ball.
the air on third and long, like.
3rd and 13. We ran the ball up the middle of Saquon.
And that's old school football, man. We're going to run the ball and we're going to play defense, and we've seen that formula wins this time of year.
Yeah,
But
against Green Bay,
we
that will not beat the Detroit Lions
no,
or Tampa Bay or the unfortunately I want to say it, the Rams. The Rams is who I think is the sneaky team in this NFC
mm-hmm.
picture side over here, but who knows if they will
Big thing for them though now is they don't get to play at home tomorrow, so that I think that makes things interesting. And the Vikings did go 14-3, so that that's a very interesting game.
the Vikings are fraudulent.
You think so?
100%.
Okay.
Sam Darnold is not a winner. Sorry. It's
Take it easy on Sam. I like Sam. Take it easy on
Sam Darnold, not a, I can tell you the people who are winners. Baker Mayfield, unfortunately, he's a winner, and he's
him.
a butthole about it, but he's a winner. Jalen Hurts is the ultimate winner.
hmm
Jalen can throw for 300. We've seen him do it in the Super Bowl against Patrick Mahomes. He can
hmm
rush for 200. We've seen him do it against Josh Allen.
hmm
Like, he can do all these things that people are saying, all these guys are so MVP caliber. But
hmm
Hurts wants to win.
For
So if
sure.
he's going to hand the ball off 20 times to Saquon to win the game, he's going to do that. If he
Yep.
knows you have something that's unbeatable, like a tush push, he's going to do that.
hmm
Like, oh, what did you think of the fake tush push?
I mean, great play design. Just he missed a throw.
He fell. He
Yeah.
tripped. If he didn't
hmm
trip, that might have because AJ he had him beat.
Well, and then Saquon almost housed that. He would have housed that one at the end, and then he just slid down. I'm like, man, I want to beat these guys. I want to beat every team by this amount of points every single game.
He,
You know.
Saquon's such a nice guy, gentleman. I seen
Mhm.
at the end of the game. Obviously, AJ is coming up to him like, "Hey, take that to the house," type stuff. But
Mhm.
then there was a Green Bay Packer that came to him, and this is just something you see on the TV outside. You
Mhm.
can kind of picture what they're saying, and the guy
Mhm.
goes something like, "If they gave it to you, you need to take it." He said, "Nah, that's on you, bro." I'm like, "Dang." At least we know Saquon ain't fake.
Oh yeah,
That's
yeah.
real. That's real. Nah, I see,
Sa-
bro.
Saquon, and they talked about this in the broadcast. Saquon came in here. You bring in a player like Saquon Barkley because we knew how close we were to win the Super Bowl in 2022. We know how close we are to win the Super Bowl right now. You acquire elite players like Saquon Barkley whenever you know that you have a shot to go win that game,
Yeah.
and that is why he's on our team. And I'm so thankful that he's a part of our team because he's been the MVP for this team this year. Like we've established that on many shows before this. He's going to get the ball, and we're going to run it down your throat until we score points, and we're going to go play defense. And That's old style football, man. That is old style football.
So that's such a tough picture. We gotta talk about that stuff.
Man,
Get
got a
off.
face full of and the tippy toes down the sideline, man.
It was such a nasty play.
Mm-hmm.
Josh Jacobs had a good run. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But there was
Quinion Mitchell gets his first pick.
that's a dub. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think he needed that to solidify rookie of the year for real on defense.
Mm-hmm. Zach Bond had a huge interception. Couldn't get any points out of it, but just
Yeah, three.
creating turnovers.
Clay got one too, didn't he?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Had 3 picks. Yeah, that's nasty work.
That one by Slay was actually really nice because I don't even think he saw the ball. He just put his hands up, and I think he felt it in his hands and was like, "Oh, I got it."
Somebody was telling me Jordan Love's elite. Yeah, this week. Elite was the word that they said. And I was like, fraudulent. There's people. It's fraudulent. There's fraudulent people in this NFL. There's a lot of fraudulent people in this playoff, by the way. But we'll get there. We can talk about it now because I feel like this game. I mean, we were expected to win this game.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
We did what we were supposed to do.
Absolutely.
Big picture. Big picture. We play. I think Tampa Bay just got picked off Jaden Daniels. So regardless, either one of those, if we play them, cookies.
Well, if Washington wins, then we'll know that we have Rams or Vikings winner. So,
what is Washington ranked? Are they the 5?
Well, Washington will be the highest seed remaining, so they would go to Detroit automatically.
That's disgusting.
You don't want to play Tampa.
I want to play Tampa.
Oh, you do want to play Tampa.
That's exactly who I want to play.
Mm-hmm.
My sleeper picks, obviously, I think the Rams are going to do something nice. They have the tools to be nice. They're just, I don't know. I don't know what happened to them this season. They had injuries everywhere, obviously, but everybody does.
We've already handled them, so I'm not worried about them if we have to play them.
I hear you. But we ain't gonna act like Cooper Kupp might not actually start playing eventually.
Like I told you the other day, I was more worried about this game today than I am whatever we got going on next week. Like
I knew
once we got through this one, I know that this team's gonna put in the work. They're gonna work all week. They're gonna get ready for next Sunday. They're gonna come out and take care of business. The only worry left for me is if we're playing in Detroit for an NFC Championship game, that place will be rocking, and the Eagles just got to come out and do their business, man. They got to come out and do their business.
Detroit. That's just up the street.
Do what?
We'll travel to Detroit. That's just up the street.
Oh yeah. The
it ain't gonna be all blue in that
to Detroit, yeah, for sure.
But I think playing in Detroit would be one of the best options for the NFC Championship for us, actually, because I in my category of fraudulent. There goes.
I'm pulling against them. Like I obviously don't want them to win, but that's because I want to play 3 home playoff games to try and get to the Super Bowl. Like obviously,
yeah. Anytime we play 3 times at home, we go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, like if that happens, I feel very, very strongly that we will be in New Orleans playing for a Super Bowl, no doubt.
I wouldn't mind to play inside one game though. You know, just saying it's cold.
It's only going to get colder for sure.
But I do believe so. In my category of fraudulent that's been in the playoffs so far, Justin Herbert proven to be fraudulent. What do you think? 4 or 5 picks?
3, 4.
Fraudulent.
It was a surprise to me. I mean, he's typically a pretty efficient quarterback, so that game actually surprised me a lot.
That was easy money on FanDuel. Easy money. Him, fraudulent. Jordan Love, fraudulent. Sorry, the world's not going to hear this. Jaden Daniels, fraudulent.
Still a long way to go in that one.
Yeah, that's fine. We got to see them twice a year. They got to see us twice a year, matter of fact. But fraudulent. Jared Goff, unfortunately, he's got everything in the world around him, but he's fraudulent. I've seen it. I've seen it. I've seen it with my eyes. I've seen it when
Gotta
he
get after him. You gotta get after him is the thing, man. If the Eagles pass rush is getting there, they're gonna be damn tough to stop.
The thing is, it's not really Jared Goff's fault that I'm calling him fraudulent. His defense will allow him to be fraudulent. He hasn't played I mean, the Vikings defense is supposedly this awesome defense. It's straight,
Mm-hmm.
but it ain't us.
No, no.
So,
I don't think anybody's on the defensive side of the ball in this league. Not right now.
fraudulent. That's what I'm
Maybe the
calling.
Chiefs.
No, super fraudulent. Nah, Patrick Mahomes isn't fraudulent,
uh,
but the Chiefs team in general this year is fraudulent.
they lost one game, Avery.
The AFC is butt. We sweep the AFC, remember?
I mean, if we get back there, and I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but if we get back there and we're playing the Chiefs, I feel really good. I feel really good. What Jalen is going to put himself through mentally to get ready for a Chiefs Super Bowl, to get back and to have a chance to redeem yourself on that stage. I just can't see him taking no for an answer. It would be so sweet.
And
I mean, and that's what I want. That's what I want. Obviously, we'll take a Super Bowl against anybody, a Super Bowl berth against anybody, and ultimately, Baltimore and Buffalo can beat Kansas City, but I want to play them again. I want our shot back at it.
if we make it to the Super Bowl, when we make it to the Super Bowl, we will get some of the world's greatest quotes of all time from Jalen Hurts.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
it will be nasty work.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying.
Yep.
Crazy work in Shady's voice. But that's what we got for today's episode. It's always a good episode when Avery and John is on the mic because we're always requesting good company.
Go Birds.